The morning started like any other Tuesday for Sarah Chun. She sat in the break room of the Asteroid Mining Consortium, stirring sugar into her coffee and scrolling through her tablet. The quarterly reports were due by noon, and she still had 3 departments to review. The wall-mounted screen crackled to life, interrupting her peaceful moment. Sarah glanced up, expecting another safety reminder about proper spacesuit maintenance. Instead, an alien face filled the screen. The creature had purple skin, 4 eyes, and what looked like tentacles where hair should be. Attention! Humans of Earth and all your colonies. The alien spoke in perfect English, though its voice sounded like grinding metal. I am Admiral Zixthara of the Galactic Council. By unanimous decree of all civilized species, the Council hereby declares total war upon the human race. Sarah blinked and took another sip of her coffee. She had heard about the Galactic Council before. They were the group that sent strongly worded letters when humans built mining stations in the wrong places. The alien continued its speech. You have violated 17 peace accords, conducted unauthorized terraforming, and shown complete disregard for civilized conduct. Your species has exactly 72 hours to surrender unconditionally or face complete annihilation. Wow, that's new, Sarah muttered. She forwarded the broadcast to Mike Henderson in the legal department. Her message was short. Hey Mike, we're at war again. Can you handle the paperwork? Thanks. Mike's reply came back in 30 seconds. Which forms do I need? The standard war declaration response or the special alien contact ones? Better use both, Sarah typed back. Cover all the bases. She finished her coffee and walked back to her desk. 3 other workers had gathered around Jenny Martinez's workstation, watching the replay of the alien announcement. Do you think this is serious? Asked Tom Williams, a new hire from the Mars colonies. Jenny shrugged. They declared economic sanctions on us last year, remember? We just sent them a bill for processing fees. But this is war, Tom insisted. Actual war. Everything's war to these aliens, said Carlos Vega, who had been with the company for 15 years. They declared war on us for mining asteroid B-47 because it was culturally significant. Turned out it was just a big rock with some pretty crystals. Sarah settled at her desk and opened her reports. The production numbers from the Jupiter sector looked good. The teams had exceeded their quotas by 12%. She made a note to recommend them for bonuses. Her communication device buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Patricia Wong of the Human Defense Fleet. Sarah had met Wong once at a conference. The woman was professional but seemed tired all the time. Sarah, got your forward about the war declaration. Pretty standard stuff. Can you ask your legal team to send coordinates for where they want to hold the battles? We have some openings Thursday afternoon, or next Tuesday works well. Also, do they need us to provide our own ammunition, or is that included? Budget meeting is tomorrow, and I need to know. Thanks, Wong. Sarah forwarded the message to Mike and got back to her reports. Across human space, similar conversations were happening. On Proxima Centauri IB, a construction crew was building a new residential complex. When their supervisor told them about the war declaration, the first question was about hazard pay. Does this count as dangerous working conditions? Asked Maria Santos, operating a plasma cutter on a steel beam 50 meters above the ground. I'll check the union contract, replied Foreman David Kim. But probably yes. War zones usually qualify. Good, said Maria. I need the extra money for my daughter's school fees. On Kepler 442b, Dr. Emily Rodriguez and her terraforming team were debating what crops to plant in the northern continent. The war announcement had interrupted their planning session. So do we still plant the wheat, or should we wait? Asked Dr. James Thompson, the soil specialist. Why would we wait? Emily asked. Wars come and go, but good agricultural planning lasts for decades. The aliens might bomb the continent, suggested Dr. Lisa Park. Emily considered this for a moment. If they bomb it, we'll need food crops even more. Let's go with wheat in sectors 1 through 5 and corn in sectors 6 through 10. We can add fruit trees next season. Back on Earth, the Global Defense Coordination Center received a war declaration at exactly 10:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. General Harrison Clark was in a budget meeting when his aide brought him the news. Sir, the aliens have declared war on us. General Clark looked up from his spreadsheets. Which aliens? The Galactic Council again? Yes, sir. Admiral Zixthara made the announcement. Zixthara. Clark tapped his pen on the table. Wasn't he the one who complained about our Mars mining operations? That was Admiral Kalanara, sir. Different tentacle arrangement. Right. Clark made a note on his tablet. Send them our standard response package. The one with the battle scheduling forms and the environmental impact requirements. Sir? Environmental impact requirements? Of course. If they're going to have space battles near our colonies, they need proper permits. Can't have debris falling on civilian areas without proper cleanup protocols. The aide nodded and left. Clark returned to his budget meeting. Now, where were we? Yes, the cost of maintaining the orbital defense platforms. Meanwhile, across Earth's communication networks, news of the war spread. On social media, reactions were mixed. Great, another alien war declaration. Posted at Starship Builder 47. Do they realize we're still processing paperwork from the last 3? Anyone know if alien wars affect shipping rates? Asked at freighter captain. I've got a delivery to make to Europa next week. My mom says this means I don't have to go to school tomorrow. Posted at middle school Mike. War zone emergency, right? Nice try, kid, replied at Principal Johnson. War or no war, you still have that math test. By evening, the war declaration had become just another item in people's daily routines. The news channels mentioned it between weather reports and traffic updates. Light alien bombardment expected in the outer system, with clearing skies by Thursday, announced the evening meteorologist. Sarah Chan finished her reports and submitted them on time. As she prepared to leave the office, Mike sent her a final message. Got everything filed with Defense Command. They said the aliens want to meet for battle negotiations next week. I scheduled it for Tuesday at 2 p.m., right after the safety inspection meeting. Perfect, Sarah replied. I'll bring coffee. She gathered her things and headed home. Tomorrow was another day, war or no war. The quarterly reports for next week wouldn't write themselves. 3 days after the war declaration, Admiral Zixthara felt confident as his Grand Armada approached the Tau Ceti system. Behind him stretched 800 warships representing 12 different species. The Krellin battlecruisers gleamed silver in the starlight. The Vorthan dreadnoughts hummed with powerful energy weapons. The Zephyrian fast attack ships darted between the larger vessels like metal fish. Sir, reported Commander Veltar from the communication station. We are approaching human space. Sensors detect multiple contacts ahead. Excellent. Zixthara clicked his mandibles together. Prepare for their desperate last stand. They will likely have their entire defense fleet waiting for us, ready to throw their lives away in a hopeless battle. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation. Zixthara expected to see human warships arranged in defensive positions. Their crews sending final messages to loved ones. Instead, he saw a traffic jam. Sir, Veltar's voice was confused. Sensors show approximately 40 vessels ahead, but they appear to be cargo ships? On the main screen, a steady stream of human merchant vessels moved along clearly marked shipping lanes. Massive cargo haulers carried containers between the inner and outer planets. Passenger liners followed their scheduled routes. A few small police patrol boats kept traffic moving smoothly. "This must be a trap," Zixthara said. "They're using civilian ships as cover for their military forces." "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from one of the human vessels." "Put it through." "Let's hear their surrender." The screen showed a middle-aged human male wearing a simple blue uniform. Behind him, Zixthara could see the bridge of a merchant ship. The human looked mildly annoyed. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the cargo vessel Late Again," the human said. "You guys are blocking the hyperspace lane. I've got a schedule to keep, so could you move your fleet somewhere else?" Zixthara's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Human, I am Admiral Zixthara of the Galactic Council. We are here to destroy your civilization." Captain Rodriguez checked something on a tablet. "Yeah, I got that memo. Look, there's a nice empty system about 2 jumps over if you want to do your battle thing. Earth Defense said they'll meet you there around 3 p.m. Standard Time. Just don't blow up the shipping buoys, okay? Corporate will dock my pay if the navigation aids get damaged." You got a memo?" "Sure." Rodriguez held up his tablet. "Right here. Alien War Declaration. Standard procedures apply. Avoid conflict zones during business hours. Pretty routine stuff. Oh, and there's a note here that you guys need to file an environmental impact report before any major battles. Something about space debris and collision hazards." Zixthara felt his confidence wavering. But we are here to conquer you. To reduce your worlds to ashes." "Uh-huh." Rodriguez scratched his head. "Well, you'll need to talk to the defense people about that. I just moved cargo containers. Speaking of which, you're really blocking traffic here. The Shipping Lane Authority might start charging you overtime fees if you stay much longer." Another human voice came over the communication channel. "Late Again, this is traffic control. You're running 12 minutes behind schedule. Please proceed to hyperspace entry point 7. "Copy that, Control." Rodriguez looked back at the alien admiral. "Sorry, got to run. Good luck with your war thing." The transmission ended. Zixthara stared at the empty screen. Around his fleet, human cargo ships continued their normal operations. A passenger liner slowly passed between 2 of his dreadnoughts, its lights blinking peacefully. "Sir," Commander Veltar spoke quietly. "What are your orders?" Before Zixthara could answer, another transmission came through. This one was from a human military vessel, though it looked more like an armed cargo ship than a warship. "Galactic Council Fleet. This is Commander Sarah Mitchell of the Human Defense Force patrol ship, Winston Churchill. We've received your battle request and we're happy to accommodate. However, our main fleet is currently conducting scheduled maintenance and won't be available until tomorrow afternoon. Can we reschedule for Thursday? I've got a nice asteroid field picked out where you can blow things up without bothering the shipping lanes." "Scheduled maintenance?" Zixthara asked weakly. "Oh yes, very important. Can't have ships breaking down during a war. That would be embarrassing for everyone. Also, I need to know if you'll be providing your own ammunition or if you need us to supply target drones. It affects our logistics planning." Commander Veltar leaned over to whisper in his admiral's ear. "Sir, this is not how wars typically begin." "I am aware of that," Zixthara hissed back. Commander Mitchell's voice continued. "Oh, and one more thing. Our insurance company needs to know the estimated value of any equipment you plan to destroy. For the damage claims, you understand. Nothing personal, just standard procedure. Insurance?" Zixthara felt one of his tentacles beginning to twitch. "You have insurance for war damages?" "Of course. We learned that lesson after the Rigel mining incident of 2387. Always get comprehensive coverage for acts of war, terrorism, and angry aliens. The paperwork is a bit complicated, but it saves money in the long run." Behind the human patrol ship, a massive cargo hauler was approaching the Galactic Council formation. Its captain sent a brief message. "Council fleet, please maintain current position while I navigate around you. Estimated transit time is 4 minutes. Thank you for your cooperation." The cargo ship, easily 3 times larger than Zixthara's flagship, slowly moved past the alien fleet. Its crew seemed completely unconcerned about the 800 warships surrounding them. Through the ship's observation windows, Zixthara could see humans going about their normal duties, checking cargo containers and monitoring navigation displays. "Sir," another voice called from the communication station. "We're receiving a general broadcast from the human colony ship New Horizon. Put it through." This time, the screen showed a cheerful human woman in civilian clothing. Behind her, families could be seen walking through what looked like a shopping area inside the ship. "Attention all vessels in the Tau Ceti region," the woman announced. "The New Horizon will be conducting a scheduled engine test at 1400 hours. Please maintain safe distance during the test period. We apologize for any inconvenience and remind everyone that our gift shop offers a 20% discount on all souvenirs this week. Thank you." Zixthara slowly lowered his head until it rested on his command console. Around him, his crew waited for orders. Behind them, 800 of the galaxy's most advanced warships sat motionless while human civilians went shopping and cargo captains complained about traffic delays. "Sir?" Valtar asked gently. "Should we proceed to the designated battle area?" Zixthara lifted his head and looked at the tactical display. The human traffic continued to flow around his fleet like water around rocks in a stream. A small human maintenance ship was actually using his dreadnought Shadow to adjust its solar panels. "Commander Mitchell," he called out to the human patrol ship. "This battle area you mentioned. Will there be proper facilities?" "Oh yes," Mitchell replied cheerfully. "Observation platforms for media coverage, medical stations, refreshment areas. We've got a whole infrastructure set up. Very professional operation. We do this sort of thing all the time." "All the time?" "Sure. Last month it was the Centauran Trade Collective. Something about fishing rights. Before that, the Beetlejuice Mining Union. They were upset about our safety regulations. Nice folks, though. They sent a fruit basket afterward." Zixthara closed all 4 of his eyes and tried to remember why he had wanted to conquer the humans in the first place. It had seemed like such a good idea 3 days ago. After the embarrassing encounter in the Tau Ceti system, Admiral Zixthara decided on a new strategy. If the humans wanted to treat war like a business transaction, he would show them real terror. The Council's elite destroyer corps would attack Earth's orbital stations directly. No more polite requests or scheduled battles. The destroyer corps was the Council's most feared military unit. They had conquered 47 star systems without losing a single battle. Their black ships were designed to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies. Their troops were trained in psychological warfare and intimidation tactics. Commander Krex Volume led the assault on Orbital Station Gamma, a massive structure that housed 50,000 human workers. The station processed raw materials from Earth's asteroid belt and served as a major shipping hub. Destroying it would cripple human industrial capacity. The boarding party cut through the station's outer hull with plasma torches. Krex Volume expected to hear screams and alarms. Instead, he heard something that sounded like classical music playing softly in the background. "Attention boarding party," a calm human voice announced over the station's communication system. "Please report to the main reception desk for processing. Someone will be with you shortly." Krex Volume looked at his troops. The destroyer corps had protocols for desperate resistance, suicide attacks, and chaotic evacuation. They did not have protocols for being asked to check in at reception. The boarding party made their way through clean, well-lit corridors. Human workers glanced at them with mild curiosity, but continued with their duties. One worker, a middle-aged woman carrying a coffee mug, actually nodded politely as they passed. "Excuse me," she said to Crack's volume. "Are you here for the security inspection?" "The main office is down the hall, third door on the right." Crack's volume stared at her through his helmet visor. "We are here to destroy this station and everyone on it." The woman checked her watch. "Oh, you're the alien invasion. I think Janet is handling that. She's at reception desk B. Just follow the blue line on the floor." She walked away, sipping her coffee. The destroyer cores followed the blue line through a maze of corridors. They passed a cafeteria where humans were eating lunch and watching news reports about the invasion on wall-mounted screens. Nobody seemed particularly concerned. Reception desk B was located in a large office area. Behind the desk sat a human woman in her 50s, typing on a computer. Her name tag read Janet Kim, Station Manager. She looked up as the aliens approached. "Good afternoon," Janet said pleasantly. "You must be the destroyer cores. I have your paperwork right here." She handed Crack's volume a clipboard with several forms attached. "I need you to fill out sections 1 through 7, Janet explained. "That's basic visitor information, purpose of visit, estimated duration of stay, and emergency contact information. Section 8 is for hazardous activities, which I assume includes the destroying and conquering stuff." Craig's volume looked down at the forms. The first page was titled Orbital Station Gamma Visitor Registration and Activities Permit Application. "We are here to reduce this station to cosmic dust," he said. "Oh yes, that's fine," Janet replied. "We get that a lot. But station regulations require all potentially dangerous activities to be properly documented. Insurance purposes, you understand. Also, environmental safety needs to review any plans that might involve structural damage or atmosphere breaches." "Environmental safety?" "Absolutely. We can't have debris floating around the shipping lanes without proper cleanup procedures. It's a liability issue." Janet pointed to another form. "That's Form 77C. Just describe what you plan to blow up, when you plan to blow it up, and what you'll do with the pieces afterward." One of Krexval's soldiers leaned over to whisper in his ear. "Sir, what are your orders?" Crack's volume stared at the forms. His training had covered 17 different types of psychological warfare. He could break the will of enemy commanders with a single glance. He had once made an entire planetary government surrender by describing what he planned to do to their capital city. He had never been asked to fill out paperwork in triplicate. "When do we need to complete these forms?" he asked. "Well, normally we need 48 hours notice for any major structural modifications," Janet said. "But I can expedite the process if this is urgent. We might be able to get approval by tomorrow morning." "Tomorrow morning?" "Tuesday at the earliest. Environmental safety only works weekdays, and today is Friday." "Oh, but there's a holiday on Monday. So really we're looking at Tuesday afternoon." Craig's volume felt something he had never experienced before in his military career. Bureaucratic helplessness. "What if we just started destroying things now?" he asked. Janet looked horrified. "Oh no, you can't do that. We haven't had the safety briefing yet. And you need to check in with building maintenance first. They just painted the hull last week, so if you're planning to blast holes in it, there's a special form for that. Paint fumes can be dangerous in enclosed spaces." She handed him another clipboard. "This is Form 45J. Building maintenance will need to know the size and location of any holes you plan to make. For ventilation purposes." "Ventilation purposes," Craig's volume repeated weakly. "Safety first," Janet said cheerfully. "Can I get you some coffee while you work on those forms? The cafeteria makes excellent donuts too." Meanwhile, down on Earth, the invasion had become part of the daily routine. News anchors mentioned light orbital bombardment between weather and sports. The morning show discussed whether the alien invasion would affect weekend shopping mall hours. Schools will remain open during the current extraterrestrial crisis, announced the Education Department. However, students should remember to bring their emergency contact information in case of temporary alien occupation of school facilities. Children practiced alien invasion drills alongside their regular earthquake and fire safety procedures. The main difference was that during alien invasion drills, they were supposed to ask the invaders to sign in at the office and provide proper identification. On social media, reactions were typically human. "These aliens are really disorganized," posted at Earth Resident 23. "How hard is it to fill out basic visitor forms? It's not rocket science." "My cousin works on Station Gamma," wrote at Space Worker 47. "She says the aliens have been in the reception area for 6 hours trying to figure out the paperwork. They keep asking for help with the multiple choice questions." "Anyone know if alien invasions count as sick days?" asked at Office Employee 12. "Asking for a friend." The Galactic Council's Supreme War Leader, monitoring the invasion from his command ship, became increasingly frustrated as reports came in from other stations. The elite destroyer corps, the most feared military unit in the galaxy, was completely stalled by human administrative procedures. "Sir," reported his aide, "Destroyer Group Alpha is requesting assistance with form completion. They're having trouble with the section about personal protective equipment requirements." "Destroyer Group Beta reports that their invasion has been postponed," added another officer. "The humans told them they can't proceed without a valid work permit. Something about labor regulations." And Destroyer Group Gamma, "Sir, they've been enrolled in a safety training seminar. It covers proper procedures for working in zero-gravity environments." The Supreme War Leader pounded his command console with all 4 of his fists. "We are supposed to be conquering them. How are they turning our invasion into a filing exercise?" On Station Gamma, Craig's volume finally completed the visitor registration forms. His handwriting was terrible. Alien claws were not designed for human writing implements, but Janet accepted them with a smile. "Perfect," she said. "Now, the safety department needs to give you a brief orientation before you can begin any dangerous activities. That's conference room C, just down the hall. Oh, and you'll need these." She handed each member of the Destroyer Corps a visitor's badge with their photo and a bright yellow hard hat. "Safety regulations," Janet explained. "No exceptions, even for cosmic destroyers." Craig's volume looked at his reflection in the conference room window. The most feared warrior in the galaxy was wearing a yellow hard hat with visitor written on it in cheerful blue letters. "Sir?" one of his soldiers asked. "What do we do now?" Crexvold checked the schedule Janet had given him. "According to this, we attend a presentation about proper tool handling procedures at 2 p.m., followed by a video about emergency evacuation routes. And then we destroy the station?" "After we complete the written safety exam," Craig's volume replied. "It says here that we need a score of 80% or higher to qualify for unsupervised demolition activities." Through the conference room window, he could see human workers going about their normal duties. They seemed completely unaware that they were supposedly being conquered by the galaxy's most elite military force. Craig's volume had begun to suspect that the humans were aware of exactly what they were doing. 6 months into what the Galactic Council still officially called Total War, Supreme War Leader Korthmak realized his forces were losing. Not through military defeat, they had barely engaged in any actual combat. They were losing through something far more insidious. Human bureaucracy. Every council attack had become bogged down in permit requirements, environmental impact studies, and safety regulations. His elite warriors, bred and trained for glorious combat, now spent their days attending customer service seminars, and filling out insurance forms. The breaking point came when Korthmak decided to personally deliver an ultimatum to the human leadership. He would arrive at Luna Base, the administrative center of human space operations, and demand their immediate surrender. No more forms, no more delays, no more meetings about meetings. Korthmak's personal battleship, the Destroyer of Worlds, approached Luna Base with appropriate menace. The ship was black as space itself, armed with planet-cracking weapons, and designed to strike terror into the hearts of enemies. Its arrival should have triggered panic and chaos. Instead, Luna Base Traffic Control treated it like any other visitor. Destroyer of Worlds. This is Luna Base Traffic Control. A bored-sounding human voice announced. Please proceed to Docking Bay 12 for oversized vessels. Watch your clearance on the port side. Maintenance is working on the antenna array. This is Supreme War Leader Korthmak of the Galactic Council. He growled into the communication system. I demand immediate access to your planetary leadership. Okay, the traffic controller replied. Do you have an appointment? An appointment? Yeah. You need to schedule meetings with government officials in advance. Security requirements and all that. Let me check the calendar. Looks like President Martinez has an opening next Thursday at 2 p.m. Will that work? Korthmak's tentacles writhed with frustration. I am here to demand your surrender. I do not need an appointment. Oh, a surrender demand. That's different paperwork. The traffic controller's tone became more professional. You want to go to the Municipal Services Building, 3rd floor, Office 315. They handle all formal government communications. But sir, it's lunchtime right now, so they'll be closed until 1 p.m. Korthmak docked his ship and stormed through Luna Base with his personal guard. The base was enormous, a sprawling complex of offices, residential areas, and commercial districts. Humans moved through the corridors with calm efficiency, going about their daily business as if a supreme galactic warlord was not walking among them. He followed signs to the Municipal Services Building, passing a coffee shop, a bookstore, and a small park where human children were playing. None of them seemed concerned about his presence, even though he stood 3 meters tall and was covered in natural armor plating. Excuse me, he called to a human woman waiting for an elevator. Where is your planetary leadership? I must speak with them immediately. The woman looked at him with mild interest. Are you here for the surrender thing? That's municipal services, but they're at lunch. You could try the information desk on the 1st floor. Maria might be able to help you. The elevator arrived, and she got on, leaving Korthmak standing in the hallway. He eventually found the Municipal Services Building and located Office 315. A sign on the door read, Currently at lunch. Will return at 1 p.m. For emergencies, please contact building security. Korthmak checked his chronometer. It was 12:23 p.m. He had conquered entire star systems in less time than this lunch break. He tried the information desk. A cheerful human woman named Maria looked up from her computer terminal. Hi there. How can I help you today? I am Supreme War Leader Korthmak. I am here to accept your unconditional surrender and claim this system for the Galactic Council. Maria nodded politely. Okay, that sounds like something for colonial administration, not municipal services. They're in Building C, but they're at lunch too. Everyone takes lunch from noon to 1 p.m. Union rules, you know? Union rules? Oh yes, very important. Workers need their break time. Actually, you look tired. Have you eaten lunch? There's a nice cafe on sublevel too. They make excellent sandwiches. Korthmak stared at her. I am here to conquer your species. Uh-huh. Maria made a note on her tablet. Well, conquest paperwork usually goes through colonial administration. But you'll need to take a number first. They get pretty busy in the afternoons. She pointed to a machine near the entrance that dispensed numbered tickets, like at a delicatessen. A number? It's a queue system. Keeps things organized. Very fair, first come, first served. Korthmak walked over to the machine and pressed the button. A small paper ticket emerged with the number 847 printed on it. Above the machine, a digital display showed, now serving 23. 847? He asked weakly. Yeah, it's been a busy day, Maria said. Lots of people renewing their mining permits. The deadline is next week, so everyone's rushing to get their paperwork in order. Korthmak found himself sitting in a waiting area surrounded by humans filling out forms. To his left, an elderly man was applying for a permit to expand his asteroid mining operation. To his right, a young woman was updating her pilot's license. First time? The elderly miner asked, noticing Korthmak's confused expression. Yes. These government offices can be overwhelming. I've been coming here for 20 years. The key is to bring something to read and don't expect to finish in one trip. One trip? Oh, sure. Last time I needed to update my industrial permits. It took 3 visits. Had to get signatures from safety, environmental, and labor relations. Each department has different office hours. The young woman looked up from her form. What are you here for? I am surrendering, Korthmak said, not sure how else to explain it. Surrender processing. That's Form 299B. Pretty straightforward, but you need to attach supporting documents. Do you have your original war declaration? My what? The document where you officially declared war. They need that for the file. Plus, you'll need 3 forms of identification and proof of current address. Aunt Korthmak realized he had left all his official documents on his ship. What if I do not have these things? Then you'll need to come back another day, she said sympathetically. Happens all the time. The government is very strict about paperwork. The digital display slowly changed from now serving 23 to now serving 24. Hours passed. Korthmak watched the numbers crawl upward at a glacial pace. Humans around him chatted about everyday topics, weather, sports, family plans for the weekend. Some worked on portable computers. Others read books or listened to music. No one seemed to notice or care that the supreme war leader of the Galactic Council was sitting among them, waiting to surrender the most devastating war in galactic history. At 4:30 p.m., the display finally reached now serving 847. Korthmak approached the service window, where a middle-aged human man sat behind bulletproof glass. Next, the clerk called out in a monotone voice. I am Supreme War Leader Korthmak of the Galactic Council, he announced. I am here to formally surrender and end our war with humanity. The clerk looked at him with the expression of someone who had been working in government service for too long. Do you have Form 299B completed? No. You need Form 299B for surrender processing. You can get one from the forms desk over there. He pointed across the room. Next, wait, Korthmak called out. This is important. I am trying to end a galactic war. Sir, I understand your urgency, but everyone thinks their paperwork is urgent. You need the proper forms. Next. Korthmak trudged over to the forms desk, where a bored teenager handed him a thick packet of papers. Form 299B is on page 12, she said. You'll also need Forms 301A through 301D as supporting documents. Black ink only, please. Blue ink won't process correctly. Korthmak looked at the forms. They were written in tiny print with complex legal language. Questions covered everything from his personal identification information to detailed descriptions of military assets to environmental impact assessments of previous battles. How long does this usually take? He asked. First time surrender? Maybe 2 hours if you're fast. Most people need help with the technical sections. By the time Korthmak finished filling out the forms, the office was closing. The clerk had gone home. The lights were being dimmed. "Sorry," said the security guard. "Office hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. You will have to come back tomorrow." Korthmak walked back to his ship in a daze. He had led the most powerful military force in the galaxy. He had reduced civilizations to ash with a single command. He had struck fear into the hearts of species across 1,000 worlds, and he had been defeated by a paper form, and office hours. His aide was waiting for him at the ship. "Sir, how did the surrender go?" "We will try again tomorrow," Korthmak said quietly. "And we need to bring our own pens." The Galactic Council's formal surrender ceremony was scheduled for Thursday, October 15th at 2:30 p.m. Right between the ribbon cutting for Luna, Base's new shopping complex, and the local high school graduation ceremony, President Martinez arrived 5 minutes late, carrying a sandwich and apologizing to her security detail. "Sorry, the budget meeting ran long. Something about funding for the new subway system on Mars. Are we ready to end this war thing?" Supreme War Leader Korthmak stood at attention in the Luna Base conference room, wearing his most formal military decorations. Around him, his surviving commanders waited in nervous silence. They had spent months being systematically defeated by human paperwork. And now they faced the ultimate humiliation, an official surrender ceremony that had been squeezed into someone's lunch break. "Mr. Korthmak," President Martinez said, settling into her chair and unwrapping her sandwich. "I understand you want to surrender?" "Yes, Madam President," Korthmak replied stiffly. "The Galactic Council formally acknowledges defeat and requests terms of surrender." "Great. Janet, do you have the paperwork?" Janet Kim, who had been promoted from station manager to director of alien relations after her success in handling the orbital invasions, handed President Martinez a folder. "Standard surrender package," Janet explained. "Territory transfer documents, military asset inventory forms, and the new citizen registration materials." President Martinez flipped through the papers while taking a bite of her sandwich. "Looks good. Mr. Korthmak, you'll need to sign these in triplicate. The blue copies go to Colonial Administration. The yellow copies go to Defense Command, and you keep the white copies for your records." Korthmak signed the documents with a heavy heart. 6 months ago, he had commanded the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Now he was filling out forms to become a human citizen. "Excellent," President Martinez said, collecting the papers. "Welcome to human space. Janet will help you with the transition process. Oh, and don't worry about finding housing. We've got plenty of space in the former Council territories." "Former Council territories?" Korthmak asked. "Well, yes. Once you surrendered, those systems automatically became part of human space. Standard municipal incorporation procedures. You'll get your welcome packets next week with information about trash collection schedules, voter registration, and cable TV installation." Admiral Zixthara, standing behind Korthmak, raised one tentacle nervously. "What about our military forces?" "Oh, they'll be fine," President Martinez said cheerfully. "We always need more people in public service. The Department of Motor Vehicles is hiring, and I think the Postal Service has some openings. Good benefits, excellent retirement plan. The Postal Service? Very important job. Making sure mail gets delivered on time across interstellar distances requires careful planning and attention to detail. Perfect for former military personnel." Janet leaned forward. "Actually, Mr. Korthmak, I was wondering if you'd be interested in a position with our office. Assistant Director of Interspecies Relations. It mostly involves scheduling meetings and making sure alien cultural festivals get proper parade permits." Korthmak considered this. After months of being defeated by human bureaucracy, the idea of working within it held a strange appeal. What are the office hours? 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Lunch break from noon to 1. Very reasonable. President Martinez finished her sandwich and checked her watch. Are we good here? I've got the high school graduation in 20 minutes, and I promised to give a speech about the importance of civic engagement. Just one more thing, Janet said, handing Korthmak another form. This is your voter registration. Since you're a citizen now, you can vote in local elections. There's a bond measure coming up to fund new parks in the Tau Ceti system. After the ceremony, as the former Galactic Council leadership was being processed through the Citizenship Office, Admiral Patricia Wong found herself being interviewed by a documentary crew from the Galactic Broadcasting Network. Admiral Wong, the reporter asked, how does it feel to have won the shortest war in galactic history? Wong shrugged. Was it short? Felt pretty normal to me. About the same length as the last 3. But how did humanity manage to defeat the most powerful military alliance in the galaxy? Wong paused, considering her answer carefully. Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but we could have won militarily on day 1. The reporter's eyes widened. Day 1? Oh, sure. We've had the technology to neutralize their entire fleet for years. Plasma cannons, quantum torpedoes, shield disruptors, all that stuff. But that seemed like so much work. So much work? Think about it. If we'd blown up their ships, we would have had to clean up all the debris, file environmental impact reports, deal with insurance claims from damaged shipping lanes. Much easier to just wait for them to get frustrated and quit. The camera operator, a young intern, looked confused. But Admiral, wasn't this a war? Weren't you afraid? Wong looked at him with mild amusement. Kid, last month we had a solar flare that knocked out communications for 6 hours. The month before that, a cargo ship accidentally dumped 10,000 tons of space wheat in the wrong star system. And we had to organize a cleanup operation involving 40 vessels and 3 different environmental agencies. I don't understand. Wars end the same way everything else ends, with paperwork. The aliens wanted to fight. We gave them paperwork. Eventually, they realized that filling out forms was easier than shooting at things. The reporter pressed on. But surely there must have been some fear. Some concern about the outcome? Wong thought about this for a moment. You know what scared me? The quarterly budget review last month. 3 hours of arguing about funding for space traffic control systems. At least with the aliens, we knew they'd eventually give up. Budget committees go on forever. Meanwhile, across human space, the transition proceeded smoothly. Former council worlds received their welcome packets with information about garbage collection schedules, library hours, and voter registration deadlines. Alien military personnel found new careers in public service. From working at spaceport security to teaching children about the importance of proper form completion. The greatest success story was Admiral Zixthara, who discovered he had a natural talent for organizing community events. His military precision proved invaluable in coordinating parade permits, festival logistics, and ensuring that alien cultural celebrations didn't conflict with scheduled maintenance on orbital stations. It's very satisfying work, he explained to a journalist 6 months later. Much more rewarding than conquest. When you organize a successful cultural festival, everyone is happy. When you conquer a planet, there's always paperwork to deal with afterward. The final twist came during a routine press conference a year later. A young reporter asked President Martinez why humanity had been so calm during the war. You have to understand, Martinez explained. This wasn't unusual for us. Every day, humans deal with traffic jams, tax forms, insurance claims, committee meetings, and hardware stores that don't have the right screws in stock. We've been preparing for bureaucratic warfare our entire lives. So the Galactic Council never had a chance? Not really. They trained their whole lives to be warriors. We trained our whole lives to stand in line at the Department of Motor Vehicles. Which do you think is better preparation for dealing with frustrating, time-consuming procedures? The reporter nodded thoughtfully. What about the council leaders? Are they happy with their new lives? Martinez smiled. Korthmak just got promoted to Senior Assistant Director. He's very good at his job. Turns out, if you can manage a galactic military campaign, you can definitely handle permit applications for intersystem shipping routes. As the press conference ended, Martinez gathered her papers and headed to her next meeting, a budget review for the proposed subway system on Mars. It was going to be a long afternoon, but at least no one was threatening to blow up her planet. Outside the presidential building, former Supreme War Leader Korthmak walked to work carrying his briefcase and looking forward to a normal day at the office. He had learned to appreciate the simple satisfaction of a job well done, whether that meant processing citizenship applications for new alien residents or making sure the annual festival of tentacles didn't interfere with the scheduled maintenance of the orbital defense platforms. It wasn't the life he had planned, but it was a good life. And unlike Galactic Conquest, it came with excellent health benefits and 3 weeks of paid vacation time per year. The ultimate lesson, as Admiral Wong had told the documentary crew, was simple. Humans didn't treat the war like just another day because they were fearless. They treated it like just another day because, for humans, everything was just another day to get through. Wars, alien invasions, budget meetings, traffic jams. They were all just problems that needed to be solved with the right forms, the right procedures, and the right attitude. And in the end, that attitude had conquered the galaxy more thoroughly than any weapon ever could.